Hi guys, I hope you're having a beautiful day today. Let's do an energy check, something not related to love and romance, but just kind of what do you need to know right now? What's Spirit's guidance at this time? Okay, so the first thing that we have is a burst of magic. So for some of you, this is talking about like seeds of potential that you planted many seasons ago that you've given up hope on. Like it's not going to happen, it's not going to manifest, it's not going to work. I tried and I failed. And so it's something that you kind of left by the wayside, you've abandoned, you've given up hope on, you're not investing as much of your time or energy into. This can be a creative pursuit or some kind of goal in the material world that you had in the past, that there's going to be something that kind of reroutes you to that. For some of you, this is going to be a new technique, a new component that is kind of that missing link or that missing ingredient that helps your formula from before or your process from before make sense, become more streamlined, more effective, more efficient. For others of you, this is a sense that whatever you were working toward or you were trying to kind of create in the material world, the world wasn't ready for that. They weren't ready for what you had to bring forth, or a version of you needed to, kind of be cultivated, go through that experience of disappointment, pouring yourself into something and not experiencing those results that you would have wanted, which could have caused you to redirect your energy, redirect your focus. For some of you, that degree of like frustration kind of tuned you in with some kind of aspect inside of yourself of like a sacred rage or a frustration where you've needed to be in that sort of energy, in that kind of bubbling and passionate, molten kind of energy within yourself. And it's the ability to harness that kind of fuel or that force that is going to make efforts to sort of pick something back up, or a door that kind of opens unexpectedly for you in regards to something from the past, and you're able to move forth into that experience with more of the understanding of what not to do, more of the understanding of kind of like, okay, it wasn't that there was something wrong with me, that I missed the mark, it was just not the right time and place for this thing to kind of come online or to be received fully. So this might even have to do with like somebody from the past reaching out, like inquiries about something that you had mentioned or you'd been working on or you were invested in previously that you've put aside, and all of a sudden there's a renewed interest. All of a sudden there's regeneration in that capacity. And it feels like it happens in a very surprising and a quick way that helps you to kind of get a different understanding that divine timing, as frustrating as that can be, it does work in our favor. So for a lot of you, this can indicate kind of a time where, things are going to pick up for you, professionally speaking, passion projects, creativity, anything where it's sort of like the conditions are right internally and externally for success now, where in the past it was kind of lukewarm or not existent. We also have great big love. Yeah, so you're about to be celebrated for your talents, for your achievements, for something that you are building, you're creating, you're doing, or that you're going to be called to do that. This is all about like following your heart, giving something one more chance, one more opportunity before you throw in the towel for good. This can even be something where you had sort of a path you were walking. Maybe some frustrations happened in love and romance that kind of knocked you off your square. You were off your game for a period of time. You needed to go in and heal. You needed to go in and have those glow-ups. You needed to go back and kind of, reprioritize certain things. Or you got into a relationship, or maybe this is like even a circumstance of limerence that kind of set you off your path, where you were leaving things by the wayside that were important. You were pouring your energies into the wrong thing, and it came at the expense of kind of aspects of your life, abundance that needed your energy or needed your efforts in some sort of way, but you had to be rerouted in order to really be able to prioritize what is for you and what's not, so that it feels like new opportunities that may come around in love and romance, or again, something as far as, creativity, something that you're trying to manifest, something as far as abundance and prosperity. You're not going to lose yourself in a relationship again that is going to kind of affect these other areas of your life, or, the process of what you've gone through, again, kind of tapping into that sort of holy fire, that sacred rage, that frustration within. It's going to help you to like push past obstacles, almost put blinders on to distractions outside of yourself, because there's a sense of like it's not too late for you to pursue those goals. The circumstances are right. There's energies of interest all around, something inside of you even that you kind of just wake up one day and like, I'm going to pick that back up. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to look at this from a different angle. I've had some time to cool off. I've had some time to step away. I've had some time to sort some things out. So I wonder what happens when I pour all of myself into something, not the version, that needed to go through the experience of loss or rejection, or, things just not turning out as you wanted them to, or whatever that looks like. Not that version of you, but the version of you that has risen beyond that. That's kind of like Phoenix from the ashes. You put your pieces back together in some way. You've licked your wounds, you've tamed that pride and ego, and it's almost a sense of like, there's nothing to lose with sort of giving this one more chance. I went so far with something, or I've come so far, or I put in all that time and effort. What if it just wasn't the time then, but now's the time, now's the occurrence, now's the occasion. And so it feels like with whatever this is, there's some kind of success that's going to be associated with this that really lights you up from the inside, that helps you to see and to understand, I had that vision for a reason. I had that desire for a reason. I had that goal or that compulsion or that dream for a very particular reason. It wasn't just kind of placed inside of you for nothing. You didn't go through all of that just to taste failure, and that's the end of the story. So this is the energy of regeneration, kind of picking up where you left off, knowing what not to do this time around, which it feels like fast tracks you to success in a very unique way, in a way that won't just be kind of lukewarm or something trickles in, but this is almost like big manifestation, like that big lottery win, or that, great idea that actually kind of makes a splash, actually makes an impact, actually is received by people in the here and now, that can be ready for that are seeking out that, whatever that is, or even just your light and your presence kind of associated with something, professional, or something that you're trying to get off the ground for yourself, maybe like entrepreneurship, for yourself, kind of going into being a business owner. And it's almost like, aside from the product, aside from the brand, it's almost like you're that energy, you're that essence, you're that ambassador, and that's the calling card. That's what really sort of sells this or makes it unique. We also have seeing beyond. Yeah, so this almost feels like something where you were ahead of your time. And all is not lost though. Like, you might have felt that you put in all this effort and it was like, why isn't this well received? Why is nobody like understanding this? Why is nobody, kind of on board with this? Why do I feel like I'm just feeding into this dream all on my own? To where other things might have come up, or like the progress that you were making or weren't making kind of like caused you, out of necessity or just out of frustration or even fear, to kind of look towards something else, or have to do something else with your time and your energy. There's a sense of like the world has ripened into a place where now your message can be heard, now your product can be received, now what you bring to the table is celebrated, it's useful, it's needed at this particular point in time. And it feels like whatever this is that's coming in for you, this opportunity that you're going to get, or even kind of just a burst of motivation to begin again, pick up where you left off and try like one more time, just to bring that forth, look at it from a different angle, phrase it in a different way, take a different approach to something. You're going to see success, where in the past it was like fighting against gravity. This is something where it's almost, you're not tumbling downhill, but you're going with the flow of something, where it's a lot easier to kind of gain momentum. It's a lot easier to achieve results. It's a lot easier to kind of find that target audience in some sort of way. And it feels like it helps to honor kind of your inner visionary. You might have been ahead of your time, but time has caught up to whatever that seed of inspiration is, that spark of inspiration, that thing that kind of captivated you and caused you to invest time, resources, aspects of yourself and of your life in kind of birthing this creation or aligning yourself with something that could have been like a long-term dream or something that you might have like seen other people doing and you're like, I want to get on board with that. I want to get in there. I want to be a participant in this, or I have something to bring to the table. I have something to say. I have something to present. I have something to prove or to do. And so this wasn't just an energy of kind of something lacking in you or that it was a bad idea. It was just the sense of kind of like it was something that was for the future. And now you're existing in that future energy, or you're getting ready to step into that. And there's going to be success where there had just been kind of like emptiness or loss before. You're going to see kind of the rise in those returns for your efforts. Let's get one more just to kind of close this out. Yeah, we have broken open. So you are going to have a breakthrough. This is like bursting through that glass ceiling and kind of outshining the competition, maybe even competition in the form of like your inner critic, sort of encouraging you to just, let something be, take those losses and just kind of hold that inside that's maybe made you a little bit risk averse. Maybe something that happened kind of in the not too distant past. Is given in mind like things you could have been working on within the last 5 to 10 years that didn't turn out as you had wanted them to, that might have made you a little bit cautious or hesitant to really put yourself out there like that again, or trust as fully within dreams or your capacity to succeed. And it's like something that's kind of a breakthrough. Maybe this is even somebody that, kind of reaches out and expresses interest in something that you were working on once upon a time that kind of motivates you to pick that back up, to invest in that or to bring that out or to kind of continue forth with what you were doing. That helps you to see that you didn't miss the mark. You were aligning almost with the idea of like putting a thread through an eye of the needle. Only it had to do with kind of the climate of the collective conscience or the world around you, or kind of what you had going on in your life. Certain things needed to be cleared out. Certain things needed to be fine-tuned. Certain things, you yourself and other things, needed to be readied in order to align and receive this and have those energy exchanges fully. And so you're getting ready to see like your efforts were not in vain. Your ideas were brilliant. You bring a lot to the table. Rather than being counted out or counting yourself out, you're getting ready to be counted in, to be celebrated, to be acknowledged, to be encouraged to continue with these pursuits, continue with this kind of visionary approach, continue with whatever it is you have been wanting to bring forth into the material reality. So once you step into that new experience, that energy of the breakthrough where what was once your glass ceiling is now the floor that you are standing upon, and it's a different horizon moving forward, it feels like this is going to give you a lot of motivation, a lot of leverage as far as seeing those bigger dreams through to a place of completion, or even looking at those bigger dreams from a different perspective, from like modern eyes, or from the way in which your reality has shaped you, or you've had to shape yourself through that experience of kind of what you had invested your hope and your belief and your efforts in that needed to kind of fall apart, or it wasn't the right time, it wasn't the right circumstance, you weren't the right version of yourself, or it wasn't the right audience that you were gearing your efforts towards. All of that has changed. The people that are relevant to this, the clients, the customers, the fans, the followers, the subscribers, the admirers, just whatever that looks like, the patrons, just whatever that looks like, all of that populace, that whole kind of group of consciousnesses, everybody going through this process of kind of being honed and shaped. And so now it's almost like there's a need, there's a necessity, and you are the person that can fulfill that. You're the person that fills that niche. You're the person that delivers. You're the person that has what others want. And so it feels like it's going to be a lot of motivation for you, kind of like a pat on the back for yourself that encourages you to dream bigger, to continue to believe in yourself, and to continue to push forth in the direction of those dreams, even when it might be slow going or you might have those frustration. This is something that feels like that helps you in a long-term sense to keep moving forward. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that in the bio. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.